Dean, I'll tell you, just seeing this pan of the GOP candidates, we certainly did the right thing to listen to Trump. That was valuable. That was memorable. Nothing about this debate is going to be either.
Jim, you might have a point on that. Yeah, I mean, I barely could find it. Okay, there's Chris Christie, and who else is here?
You got Chris Christie, you got Ron DeSantis, you got Nikki Haley, you got Asa Hutchinson, you got Mike Pence, Vivek Ramaswamy, and Tim Scott. And then one more, this North Carolina Governor, Doug Burgum.
Jim, what do you think about that tie? Just to get off the topic, what a terrible tie that
silly.
is.
I think that's silly. That was a poor choice.
Only an oaf would wear a tie like that. I mean, what kind of tie was that?
Chris Christie is just, he's a disgrace in my opinion. He forfeited any good reason to take him seriously long since. We made the right decision. Now, this guy is an interesting guy.
Oh, they're swinging at Trump.
He's getting wild cheers, notice.
The claim that Donald Trump is motivated by vengeance and grievance would be a lot more credible if your entire campaign were not based on vengeance and grievance against one.
So, Jim, here it is. They're vying for VP positions in these debates. I now figured it out. That's what this is about. It's auditions.
They could just change the channel to MSNBC right now.
Well, that's what Trump said. I mean, he's ahead by 50 points for crying out loud. Obviously, he's going to win the nomination.
And we cannot set a precedent.
I like this guy, and I like Bollywood, too.
To indict its political opponents. It is wrong.
Very smart.
Look, the audience is going with him.
I'm sorry. 30 seconds covered. You make me laugh.
This is not good for Christie.
No, it's like that tie. That tie looks like.
You sit here and answer.
He's being booed. Christie is being booed.
Christie. Hold on, Governor Christie.
Hold on, Governor.
So
they're going to punch the crowd.
The more time we spend doing this, the less time they can talk about issues you want to talk about.
He's reprimanding the audience.
Oh, look at him. Substitute.
You sit here talking about how you want to stand up for the rule of law.
Yes.
And law and order.
That's right.
And the fact is that it can't be selective. In your book, you had much different things to say about Donald Trump than you're saying here tonight.
That's not true.
No, it is very true.
That is not
It's
true.
very true. I read it, and I know.
Look, bad behavior and illegal.
Christie's a prevaricator.
You know what? I know a lot
There's
better.
a difference between bad behavior.
I know.
Christie is not winning this.
You've never done it like you've never done anything to try to advance the interests of this government except to put yourself forward as a candidate tonight. And here's the thing.
Man, that's shabby.
For law and order. I did it as U.S. attorney. I did it as governor. And I am not going to bow to anyone when we have a president of the United States who disrespects the Constitution.
Go back to Biden.
He said,
he's not going over with this crowd.
Martha, it's important to say that
Jim, I'm liking this show.
Donald Trump said it's okay to suspend the Constitution. Now, the oath you take is to preserve, protect, and defend, not suspend. I will always stand up for our Constitution, regardless of the political pressure.
We have another question for you.
You are
pathetic. On this issue, but I have another question.
Look at that endearing outfit.
All right, so
Brett Baer.
President Trump's former vice president is on this stage tonight. He has faced hecklers on the campaign trail over his actions
it's a
on
mannequin.
January the 6th. On that day, the vice president moved forward with the certification of the election.
Looks terrible.
Yeah,
so
he
do
does.
you believe
I think he's plugged in.
Mike Pence did the right thing, Senator Scott? Do you believe he did the right thing?
Absolutely.
No.
He did the right thing. Number one. Number two.
He didn't do the right thing. Senator Scott just split his
We
throat.
should be asking ourselves
Love this guy's
bigger
cookie.
question about the weaponization of the Department of Justice. When I'm president, the first thing I'll do is fire Merrick Garland. Second thing I'll do, fire Christopher Wray, because we need justice to wear a blindfold. Without that, no one has confidence in our justice system. 17% of Republicans have confidence in our Department of Justice. Here's why.
Nigel's asking, are they all rhinos? Yes, and one else.
Of the Department of Justice against political opponents, but also against parents who show up at school board meetings. They're called, under this DOJ, they're called domestic terrorists.
Firing
That's right.
But that's shut down the FBI. Actually have the courage to get it right.
Mr. Ramaswamy, let me finish my comment.
It's getting nasty, Jim. I love it.
In addition to that, we see the SWAT team show up
That's right.
at pro-life activist homes with guns drawn, because this DOJ uses their power, uses their authority, not just against political opponents, but against conservatives and conservative causes. It is time for a change in America, and I will bring that change to the greatest nation on God's green earth.
We have an important
There's Clark Kent.
So here's what we need to do. We need to end the weaponization of these federal agents. I know, but here's the thing. This election is not about January 6th of 2021. It's about January 20th of 2025, when the next president is going to take office. I know what the Democrats would like to do.
Those big, beautiful ears.
All these other issues, but we've got to focus on.
He does have large ears. A Mickey Mouse guy
from the decline of our country.
Well, he has ultra hearing. That's
in the military. I was assigned with U.S. Navy SEALs in Iraq. That you focus on the mission above all else. You can't get distracted. So Republicans, we've got to look forward, and we've got to make sure that
hand driving
we're
tonight,
sending the message that can win in November 2024.
Hand driving.
Vice President Pence,
Wait, hold on. The American stiff is
Constitution of the United States. I think the American people deserve to know whether everyone on this stage agrees that I kept my oath to the Constitution that day. There's no
did
more
not.
important duty. So answer the question.
Did not.
I've answered this
you don't even think he's human.
Why are we?
See, that was a key point that Trump made.
Here's the thing: is this what we're going to be focusing on going forward? The rehashing of this? I'll tell you, the Democrats would love that, and they will win if we let them get away.
Where's Marco Rubio? We need him. Gee, what's wrong with Brett Baer, too?
I don't know. He looks funny. He looks bloated.
He looks like he went to the taxidermy.
He's put on some weight. I don't know. It doesn't look right.
I mean, everybody, there's a lot of makeup on tonight.
to face. And over a year ago, I said that Donald Trump was morally disqualified from being president again.
This guy's scumbag.
What happened on January 6th. More people are understanding the
his tie's terrible too.
Legal scholars who says he's disqualified under the 14th Amendment from being president again.
No, that's just he's a Democrat in this guy.
Disqualify him.
Look at him.
This guy's scum.
Under the Constitution.
Jim, his tie looks like a candy cane.
Obviously, I'm not going to support somebody who's been convicted of a serious felony who is disqualified under our Constitution, and that's consistent with RNC rules. And I hope everybody would agree with me.
No, nobody's going to agree with that.
Martha, can I answer the question?
Can I get in on
Okay, I'd like to answer.
I've already been on it.
Chris Christie trying to get seconds.
Answer the question you asked and not give a pre-canned speech.
Oh my!
Mike Pence
Nasty
stood for the Constitution. And he deserves not grudging credit. He deserves our thanks as Americans.
See, there's Christie endorsing Pence in not doing what he could have done, which the Republicans have subsequently acknowledged he should have done.
And the argument that we need to have in this party before we can move on to the issues that Ron talked about.
A lot of these people are showing why they're not qualified to run on the GOP ticket.
Suspend the Constitution to put forward his political career. Mike Pence said no, and he deserves credit for it.
Okay.
Angie, who's her parents, says Betty wears double diapers. Yeah.
Do you agree that Vice President Pence did the right thing that day or not?
I do think that Vice President Pence did the right thing, and I do think that we need to give him credit for that. But what I will also tell you is, look, I mean, when it comes to whether President Trump should serve or not, I trust the American people. Let them vote. Let them decide. But what they will tell you is that it is time for a new generational conservative leader.
No. Why is Trump leading by 50 points?
Don't want a rematch between Trump and Biden.
Yeah, I know.
And we have
she looks like a night owl.
That Trump is the most disliked politician in America.
Right?
Very unattractive. Scary.
Oh God! Can you imagine standing next to Perry Lake? He looked like Brett Baer standing next to Perry Lake.
Happy to answer the question. Mike Pence did the right thing on January 6th.
Here's my.
You started off the top of this hour saying we're going to talk about China, Ukraine, education.
We are.
China is the
Henry Winkler.
Country, and every
Doug
minute
Burgum.
that these 8 candidates spend talking about the past instead about the future is time. It's just you know who loves it? Biden loves it, but China loves it when we're talking about the past.
Okay. As promised, we were going to spend a few questions on it. Let people say what they wanted to say.
These people are like the principals at high school.
The U.S. has committed nearly 77.
Can I speak on this issue? I was.
You did. You answered on this.
You did.
Oh my God!
Something.
Yeah.
We thought you were done, but you please.
Well, Mike, why don't you say this? Join me in making a commitment that on day one you would pardon Donald Trump, the candidate on the stage, who had the courage to actually say it. That is how we move our nation forward and turn the page forward. That's exactly right.
Will be convicted of these crimes.
You should be able to make a commitment. The same justice system that was this corrupt.
What's the difference between you and me?
Yeah, I'm not a professional politician.
He's human.
I've actually given pardons when I was governor of state of
Indiana. Swami is smarter than any of the others on the stage.
Oh, I know. I think he's the front runner.
So, look, if I'm president of the United States, we'll give fair consideration to any pardon request. But if I may,
what a mannequin.
You know, it's not about looking back at January 2021.
Okay. You're saying
it's about January 20th, 2017.
This guy's pompous
airhead. I put my left
hand
on Ronald Reagan's Bible. I raised my right hand. And I took an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. And it ended with a prayer.
It is yours too.
It was a promise that I made to the American people.
We so much made the right decision to go with Tucker and Trump.
I know.
Every day for 4 years, I sought to keep that oath. And everyone on this stage needs to make it clear whether or not they'll do the same if they earn this job and the confidence of the American people.
Wow.
Now, look, I've made it clear. I had hoped that the issues surrounding the 2020 election and the controversies around January 6th had not come to this, had not come to criminal proceedings. I would rather they had been resolved by the American people and the American people alone. But no one's above the law, and President Trump is entitled to the presumption of innocence that every American is entitled to, and we will make sure and extend that to him. But the American people deserve to know that the president asked me in his request that I reject or return votes unilaterally, power that no vice president in American history had ever exercised or taken.
Trump has contradicted
he asked me
that.
to put him over the Constitution.
With Tucker.
And
no, he didn't.
I chose the Constitution, and I always
No, he didn't.
I had no right to overturn the election.
No, he didn't.
And Kamala Harris will have no right to overturn the election.
So quick, go to Kamala Harris.
Thank you, Vice President Pence.
Oh my God. I want to see
the increase of more funding to Ukraine.
I want to see this next answer.
We would not support it.
Europe needs to step up. I mean, I would have Europe
only one person would say no to the Ukraine war. You see that, Jim? That should tell you something.
That's fascinating.
Governor DeSantis?
I will have Europe pull their weight. Right now, they're not doing it, and I think we need to do. And I think our support should be contingent on them doing it. And I would have support in China.
Swami impressed me. He looked good up there.
And do what we need to do with China.
Mr. Ramaswamy, you would not support an increase of funding to Ukraine.
I would not. And I think that this is disastrous.
Yes.
Good. Their crowd is going for him wildly.
Wildly.
Use those same military resources.
I think of all those Democrat candidates, the Ramaswamy clearly stood out head and shoulders above the others. Chris Christie, Mike Pence, the others, Nikki Haley, Burgum, all displayed their mediocrity, that they have no understanding of the Constitution and they're willing to sell their soul to promote their own personal interests. They're not worth a damn. Alone, Ramaswamy, I'm impressed. I'd give him a high position in a Trump administration, not VP. I still believe he's going to run with, our gal from Hawaii. Yeah. And I'm happy about that because she's wonderful, impressive, has a military background, well-spoken, very thoughtful, independent voice. So,
well, what a wonderful take on that. So anyways, we're going to leave it there with Jim Fetzer, and I'm going to continue with you to midnight and beyond. Jim, thanks for being here with all of us Real Deal members, and we'll try to catch up somewhere in the middle.
Thanks so much, everyone. A pleasure.
Get some rest, Jim. What a long night. Okay, thank you very much. And just a little preview of election headquarters here at Real Deal Media that we want to provide to our members. First, I'm going to continue giving coverage to this incredible mudslinging event that I'm now absolutely loving. If you are a night owl out there and you want to cruise with yours truly to midnight and slightly beyond till the leaf blowers from hell come up and around again to prevent you from sleeping ever, where you ask yourself, what did I ever do wrong in my life to deserve it? Well, feel free to join. But now let's continue our ongoing programming and coverage of the GOP mudslinging debates. It's just, here we go.
think that the same people who took us into the Iraq War, the same people who took us into the Vietnam War, you cannot end it. You cannot start another no-win war. And I do not want to get to the point where we're sending our military resources abroad when we could be better using them here at home to protect our own borders, protect the homeland. All right. That will be my top priority for the policy. Protect this
the 30
homeland.
seconds in the rebuttal. So I do want to get to some other people because everybody.
Martha, my dear.
We respect everybody's time here. So, Governor Haley.
God, she looks like a labyrinth, doesn't she?
Meaning that you would support more funding for the Ukraine
war. God.
You have said of Governor DeSantis that you didn't appreciate it when he initially called it a territorial dispute.
Territorial dispute.
First of all, the American president needs to have moral clarity. They need to know the difference between right and wrong. They need to know the difference between good and evil. When you look at the situation with Russia and Ukraine, here you have a pro-American country that was invaded by a thug. So when you want to talk about what has been given to Ukraine, less than 3.5% of our defense budget has been given to Ukraine. If you look at the percentages,
one person, just to refresh your memory here, in the recent era, only one person on this wrestling arena over here has said no to the Ukrainian war. That is the young Indian fellow. I can't remember his name right now because it's just an ungodly time of being awake covering this. All right, she's trying to hit her climax moment. Let's see if she can reach it.
He wants to go
we
and
know
stop funding Israel. You don't do that to friends. What you do instead is you have the backs of your friends. Ukraine is the front line of defense. Putin has said.
And what kind of friend tries to set up her friend who's president using a 25th Amendment to get him out? With friends like Nikki Haley, really, who needs enemies or just anyone demonic?
This guy is a murderer, and you are choosing a murderer over.
Look at her. She's dressing like she's like Santa's helper. See, what propaganda? All right, he's going to hit back.
You know, Nikki, I wish you well in your future career on the boards of Lockheed and Raytheon.
I love him.
You've been pushing this lie all week, Nikki.
You want to go and defund Israel? You want to
let me address that.
I'm sorry.
You brought that up. I want to address each of those.
Oh, look at her wagging her finger.
So you make America less than you have no foreign policy experience, and it shows.
And you know what? It's foreign policy experience that you
That's
shows in the perilous wars we've gotten into.
No, I would throw my drink at her.
With Israel will never be stronger than by the end of my first term. But it's not quite a relationship.
Quick, suck up Israel, now's the time.
And you know what friends do? Friends help each other stand on their own 2 feet. So I will lead Abraham Accords 2.0. I will partner with Israel to make sure Iran never is nuclear
we don't need to partner with Israel.
But you know what I love about Israel? And I've been there probably in the last 10 years more than most people on this stage. You know what I love about them? I love their border policies. I love their tough on crime policies. I love that they have a national identity and an iron dome to protect their homeland. And so, yes, I want to learn from the friends that we're supporting. And what puzzles me is, I want to learn from those and apply those to protect.
This woman, I'll tell you, needs to be waterboarded in the Ganges from Somali. Waterboarder.
You were mentioned in the territorial dispute. Not only.
No, it's not a territorial dispute either.
Okay, here's
your first obligation.
Everybody's very pissed off on this stage.
Country and its people, and that means you're sending all this money, but you're not doing what we need to do to secure our own border. We have tens of thousands of people who are being killed because we're not handling both. And so I am going to declare it a national
Look at her.
I'm not going to send troops to Ukraine, but I am going to send them to our southern border. When these drug pushers are bringing fentanyl across the border, that's going to be the last thing they do. We're going to leave them stone cold dead.
We're actually going to move on to China. We're going to talk about China. Governor Berger. China has the biggest navy in the world, the biggest army in the world. Now they have warships off the coast of Alaska. They are threatening Taiwan. In coming years, China will have 1,500 nuclear warheads, it's believed. The U.S. just arrested 2 sailors accused of spying for China within our military. So the question is, how would you deter China as a president, Berger?
Well, this is the #1 issue we're facing, and of course we haven't been talking about it, and we act like that letting Russia win in the Ukraine is like a gimme.
Susan Burns says she's acting like a pissed off
Russia
Karen.
has become China's gas station. But how would we do it? The Biden administration is a complete fail. China imports 10 million barrels of oil a day, more than
incredible, but I probably could tell you the same thing. Okay, we have a political pundit from the bullpen who's going to be joining us. He's the Don Eckersley of pitchers join us here in the yonder. The incredible Seth Black. Seth Black, are you there? Okay, let me try that again. Joining us live from Boston, Massachusetts. Here it is. Okay, Seth. There you are. Sorry about that.
Hello, Dean.
Seth, this is exciting, disappointing, yet very, very expected. What can we say about the debates? And then we'll work our way back on the interview. But, go for it, Seth. What are we watching here tonight?
It's quite a spectacle. It's definitely entertaining. I like that Ramaswamy guy. He seems like he's really sharp. I seen him on an interview a couple days ago, and he was talking about the 9/11, in 2001, talking about the CIA involved in it, FBI involved in it. So it sounds that he might be conspiracy-minded. Conspiracy.
How old is he? He seems very young, if I might add.
He looks like 30. He looks like 35 to me, but he's probably of Indian descent, and they typically age well. He could be 40.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's coming out of New York. Out of New York. This guy I can't stand, Mr. Famous Amos. I can't. Cookies aside. But here, what are the low-hanging fruits, Seth? I want to get your take. What the low-hanging fruits are that, meaning the go-tos when you're losing a debate or anything, the polls. It's like, quick, bring up Biden. Quick, suck up to Israel. What are you noticing the buzzwords are for the low-hanging fruits here tonight?
Yeah, I mentioned in the comments probably 15 minutes ago that Tim Scott? Is that his name? Yeah, he was mentioning Christopher Wray, Garland. Those are like the obvious people that are corrupt and need to get out. And so, he throws them names out there because that's like an automatic, points, brownie points.
You might as well just turn on the applause sign at that point. I mean,
yeah.
Remember when Jeb Bush said years ago, "And you can clap now," kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Mike Pence, who we really didn't see a lot of speaking of Mike Pence for a number of years, he's like a clone of the Bush doctrine and how to be tough kind of demeanors. It's pretty pathetic, isn't it?
Yeah. It's disgusting. People over the years saying, "Oh, he's so presidential and classy."
Yeah, he's so presidential. He's as presidential as a blow-up doll. I mean, he's got just nothing. He's a backstabber like that witchy woman, Nikki Haley, who is just wagging.
What are they showing? What are they showing now? Is that militias? They were just showing something on the screen.
Might have been an accidental from Brett Baer's phone, who doesn't even look like Brett Baer. He looks like I don't know. He looks like
he's constipated.
Well, you know what? We might be too if we had to moderate this. News fast. But a lot of these people, like maybe a lot of you out there, I haven't seen in like almost 4 years now, or 3 years since 2020, and my God, it's pretty sad and pathetic. And you could see the makeup and everything.
Yeah, I thought that Trump looked old. He looked like he aged a bit.
All right, let's get into that real quick. As I'll just kind of continue this behind us. Let's talk about the Trump interview with Tucker Carlson. As I'll come back to this in a second. I really want to get your take on it. And we heard what Jim Fetzer said on it. I said a little bit in a fraction what I was thinking on it. But before I say any more, what are your thoughts on the Trump exclusive interview with Tucker Carlson just moments ago, Seth Black? What is your take on that?
My impression of it is Trump was like a beat dog. He seemed a little depressed. His words, he was choosing his words. He's Jim's not going to like this. There's a lot of people that are trying to take him down, and so he's trying to watch himself. He's trying to protect himself. But before, he was so carefree, and he would just shoot off, and he would make remarks and jokes, and it was so funny. It was entertaining. He would say true stuff, but he would say it in a funny way, and I felt like
low energy a little bit.
Yeah, like he was defeated in a way. It's like, plus his body posture too was he was slumped over a little bit. It was and that goes to the part of being defeated a little bit. Like when you're feeling confident, you're going to sit upright, and you're going to have good posture. But when you're like kind of tired and you feel like you can't say what you want to say, you slump. You're like this. It's like yeah, I want to say something, but I can't say something.
So the body language kind of gave it away. And see, I'm more of a tone person, but that's very interesting what you're saying. What I was getting from the tone, if you listen to it, just like music, when you don't listen to the lyrics per se, but you listen to where the melody is going or not going, and everything.
I love paying attention to the tone too, because tone can say 10 different sentences just in one.
Absolutely. For instance, let me give you an example. Is a lot of like Gen Z millennials will always end on the tone of a question, like,
it goes up at the end.
So I had a good day. I think I did. Everything's up. Like I go for a walk. With the interview, I noticed it was always, well, it could have been done a little better. It's just slow and just under his breath a little bit, and just to be human about it. You're taking a beating as your time as the president.
I don't blame him.
You're taking a beating after, and maybe you thought things would have happened that didn't happen. See, which is interesting. Like the Operation Trojan Horse I told people about. Maybe his whole idea was to use the what's it called, the warp speed as the big mass arrest, and the chain of command got caught up, and that was his wild card. Then his wild card with Barr, all these different things over the course of 3 years now, going 4. He can only just beat you up and weather you after a time, like like a boxer would, right?
Right.
That's what I was getting from it.
You know how you can tell that your assumptions, well, my assumptions of like how his demeanor was and how I think he felt is you go by the tone, you go by the body posture,
right,
and what he was saying. He was self-censoring, he was slumped, his tone wasn't too energetic. There was a couple times where he tried to make like a little joke, and he got up a little bit, which was nice. But I think that this, Tucker's show wasn't the proper show to maybe say more that he wanted to say, because he knew that like half the audience is probably watching the Fox News. So he didn't have everyone's full attention. If he has everyone's full attention, he'll say more.
Well, here's what's interesting too, as we'll go back to the coverage of the debates in a moment. But here's what's interesting too is he knows there's every DA across the country watching, his lawyers, everything has, he's, like you said, self-censoring. And I'm sure he could say a hell of a lot more about the day after January 5th and his former vice stiff of a president there. But he was holding back very genuinely. But what I did notice too is he was sharing like InfoWars articles just days ago. We haven't seen that Trump in that version of that since 2017.
So Tucker was sharing it?
No, Donald Trump.
Oh, Trump was sharing.
Yeah, Donald Trump
was sharing InfoWars stuff?
Yeah, on the Truth Socialite website. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So you can tell there's a lot of holding back, because this is all planned and strategized of what they're about to do tomorrow going forward and what have you. Yeah, take that into account.
When you are strong, you act weak.
That's where I'm getting at. So let's go back to the wonderful world of Jerry Springer's GOP debates.
That is happening all across this country because of the poison that they are bringing in. So,
and it just dawned on me that too, Seth. The Machiavellian defeated.
You're darn right I would.
Vice President Pence, why would you be better at this issue than Governor DeSantis? Governor DeSantis on the campaign trail refers to your administration as not finishing the wall.
Right. Look,
here we go.
We secured the southern border of the United States of America and reduced illegal immigration and asylum abuse by 90%. When Joe Biden took over, he threw open the southern border of the United States, and the wave of humanity, the wave of fentanyl, it's been eloquently described here, is a
Can I just say, a shitty politician? But he's like a cookie cutter, like 1980s politician.
Yeah. So fake.
Like, I could be so much better than him, and he's so hated. My God,
the whole fentanyl thing, it irritates me as like some type of defense or something to use like a pawn.
And
it's like,
yeah.
If you don't want to do fentanyl, don't do fentanyl. That's it.
Right. Well, you know the problem with fentanyl too. Yes, you're absolutely correct. Is that it's getting in all these other medications. Now people are finding out. And where I guess I'm getting at, it needs to be in more of the medications that Mike Pence is taking, so we can just make sure and rest assured he gets to the next advanced, level of health.
As you can see, that makes me happy.
It does. So I'm all for the fentanyl in Mike Pence's medicine cabinet. But here's another thing I'm saying, and Jim picked up on this like he's an interior decorator. I just was so surprised. But presentation is key to a lot of this, because we just told you, like, Seth and myself, we're tone people. When we hear music, we hear melodies, and we hear where the tones are going.
And body language also.
Body language, the rhythm of the way people talk. What we see here today, it looks like circus. The ties are gaudy. Everybody's caked up with makeup. They look like they have pancake mix on their face. It's not a good presentation, what I'm seeing here tonight, Seth.
You know what I had a question about is Jim was talking about the lapel, and he said that it was like slanted or was turned at an angle on Trump, and I wasn't sure like what he was getting at with that.
You know what? We're going to have to revisit that for tomorrow night's show. But here's another thing I did notice, too. I don't know if you heard this, but in regards to whether, Hillary and all that, if you notice, Trump said, but I am the president. I am the president. It wasn't, I was the president. So,
yeah.
Right. So that's why I'm going to the chat boards. What are they called?
I don't know. But going back to the lapel thing is because Jim brought it up, and him being military minded, that what it says to me is that it communicates something. When you do something with colors and rank and like just the slightest little thing, it communicates something. And I think Jim was trying to say that there's a meaning behind it. I'm just pretty curious about that.
Yeah, we're going to have to ask him about that. Yeah.
Yeah, when you put a flag upside down, a lot of people means that it's distress. Like, yeah, that means distress. But people are abusing that. An upside down American flag really means I'm in imminent danger and most likely about to die if I don't get help right now. That's really what that means. So it's like I won't do that. I won't put a flag upside down unless I'm in that situation where like I'm about to die.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up, because Tucker brought this up twice. He brought this up twice about Trump getting killed. They're pushing and floating that out there in the same regard that Alex Jones and the TSA. We got ahead of that story, and here we are. That's got to be what is happening right now. The assassination attempts. We know it's happening on Putin. That's why he's missing at the moment. We've never heard that before with any presidential candidate before, have we?
Well, they're putting the idea in people's heads. There's some sick people out there. All you got to do is just kind of nudge them a little and be like, hey, are you worried about getting killed and assassinated? Like, that goes without saying. Yeah, of course, people are worried about that, like RFK. You don't have to say it. You don't have to bring it up. By bringing it up, you're almost trying to be like, hey, good idea.
Right, and Trump's not going to necessarily say, there's been 20 attempts in the past, 10 months.
Yeah, and a lot of times people will say that stuff too as a threat. They're like, "Are you worried about getting assassinated?" It sounds like a question, but then on the other hand, it's like, "Hey, you better shut up. You better play ball, or that might happen."
That's one interpretation of it. I like it. Let's
So look,
here's
we have a
Swami.
crisis of achievement. Let's shut down the head of the snake, the Department of Education. Take that $80 billion, put it in the
I think he's got to be the front runner thus far in this debate, Seth.
Allow any parent to choose
I agree,
where to
Dan.
send their kids to school.
And he's different too. We've never had an Indian American candidate ever. It's very refreshing, and on that regard, you know. You have Indian Americans that make up 26% of our medical field here in the United States. That's a major, you know, demographic, really. Highly educated.
Yeah. I didn't grow up in money. But you know, the word privilege gets used a lot. Well, you know what? I did have the ultimate privilege.
Very crafty,
two
too.
parents in the house with a focus.
He's good. He's sharp. I like a lot of the stuff he's saying too.
He's sharp. You know, he did use the Israel low-hanging fruit, but I'm just now at the point where, you know, some of these people have to use that card in this game here, you know, at this point.
Well, I just heard Nikki Haley just said, Nikki Haley said that he was doing something bad about Israel. She tried to say that he was anti-Israel. So I don't know what that was all about.
I'm better friends than you are with Israel.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear what this hag has to say. Oh, that's Martha. Wrong hag.
A ban on this in North Dakota, that there hadn't been one
What's her
instance
name? Martha
where
Quinn?
it was actually
I forgot
needed.
now.
Are you saying that you think that too much is made of this issue?
No, I'm saying in North Dakota we made a priority
Isn't that great?
of sports, and we've done that
Look at this
in
guy.
our state. But I would absolutely do that. But I do think when we start talking about education,
I wish it was
and
South
we think that we're gonna
Dakota.
go federal
Dakota.
government, one size fits all. We're just completely losing track.
Yeah,
of
he's
the
the wrong
fact
Dakota
that
for me.
education differs by state. Some school districts are doing a fantastic job,
Right,
some
okay.
less so. But the idea.
Yeah, well, no one cares. Anyways, let's get back to our Trump talk while he's talking. Let's just talk right over him. So, okay, that's a very interesting point now about are you worried about assassination? But you know what? It's only the next step here, Seth. Is, you know, they've thrown everything they can at him with the legal warfare, the business warfare. The woman from 1982 that he touched her shoulder. They've gone after the family. They've deplatformed everything they could. So naturally, the only last chess move that no one's talking about but knows about and has happened in our history is, assassination. You know, I mean, it's interesting that he didn't bat out at the CIA. He really didn't, for some reason. You know, he's trying to appear as a friend in a very Trumpian fashion, you know, on my take, in my view. So welcome back to
Did you hear about Tucker's text messages that were revealed? Yeah. They wanted to pro-Trump.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a minute here. So Tucker Carlson now, who, yes, and Cindy Lou says Tucker got over 1 million views. Yeah, I bet he did. And half of those were from just Jim Fetzer alone, going back, you know. But there's no love lost between him and Nikki Haley and what he thought about at the time. And that doesn't seem to. I don't know. Let me ask you: did you think they're chummy? They're friendly? Do you think that, or they're two different people, Tucker Carlson and Donald Trump?
I felt like they were neutral. I felt like, you know, just neutral. Like there was no love, there was no hate. You know, Trump's probably aware of some of the stuff that Tucker said in his text messages. If I'm aware of it, he's aware of it. But it wasn't too bad, the stuff that was said. You know, like I said, they're probably neutral.
And you know what it is too? Like, okay, a guy like Tucker Carlson, who is very, he's an intellect. So like an RFK would be more of his style. So, you know, it's like, you know, best of both worlds if you can manage it. Okay, here's the stiff, speaking of the underworld.
President who knows how Congress works, how the White House works, how states work.
Look at him, he's just getting booed. What is he still here for?
Fighting against No Child Left Behind when Republicans were doubling the Department of Education.
I would be so embarrassed.
Federal Department of Education. And when
I heard he's really into 25-year-old men.
Largest school choice program.
You know what? I didn't hear that, but I won't dispute that.
Every family in America when I'm in the White House.
He's like, if I could just point 5 times in 5 seconds, I can win.
You're 38. You're the youngest on the stage. You've said
he's only 30.
Civics test or public
He's only 30 years old, Seth.
Look at him. Vote. So the question is, do you want a mental acuity test for presidents over 75?
I believe in the people of this country to tell the difference between somebody who's an automaton and somebody who's actually a thinking agent in the White House.
You know what? He seems like a genius.
And I will tell you,
he's spot on.
I think we do.
He seems like I could say so much right now, but I just can't.
Yeah.
We have Nigel, who's on Facebook, saying he did not respond either time to the assassination comment from Tucker, which really says a lot, and is a very trained way of saying everything without saying anything.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Putting it out there. It's very cryptic.
There's almost no good response you can say about that.
No.
You don't want to be cocky either. You don't want to be like, yeah, come on, bring it.
Yeah. Absolutely. They can't blow up my bridge.
Let's go.
Governor Hutchinson, you have 30
can't be
seconds on
killed
the
by your
stage.
bullets.
You're a terrible shot.
First of all,
Terrible
look at Arkansas. We have to compete with.
You probably wouldn't even hit me.
Science
Oh my
education.
God!
We led the nation in
This
computer
guy,
science
he
education.
looks boring.
Your gun is small.
100 students to 23,000 students taking
John
it.
McBride says,
This
does
is
he have
how you
plastic
compete
hair?
with
Absolutely,
China.
John.
As
Must you
President
ask?
of the United States, I will make sure we go from
Plastic is a
51%
possibility,
of our
Beverly
schools offering
says.
computer science
Who I thought
to
was
every
paper,
school
not a
in rural
plastic person.
areas and urban areas offering
Like
computer
tissue
science
paper.
for the benefit of our
Yeah,
kids.
tissue,
and we
tissue.
can
Absolutely.
compete with China in terms of
You know-
technology.
Thank you, sir. This is going to go to this is
Okay.
coming to you.
Aren't they like high school teachers, Seth? It's so embarrassing. Like, I would be embarrassed if I were them. They're like me trying to like be tech support for people. Who are trying to call in.
For a
Yeah.
president of the United States in changing that.
But
What would you do to change that?
Our
okay.
nation was founded upon the.
You know what I was thinking about the other day?
Tell me, quick, save me.
Remember when Donna Brazil was doing a debate with Hillary and Trump?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's the head of the DNC, and she's caught giving all the questions like 24 hours ahead of time to Hillary. So she's allowed to prepare. That all comes out, and there is like no recourse of like punishment or anything. Like that simple act right there of giving someone the questions prior, that it affects like the whole direction of the country. Like there's big implications to that, and like it was just swept over, like nothing happened. And then Fox News gives her a job.
Well, that's just it. Is people say why, and it goes into the psychological effect and the arrogance. Well, the psychological effect is the warfare is the bigger the lie, the greater the sell. Like it's so outlandish that it can't be real. Then it's so outlandish that it gives you protection. Then you have peoples and powers that are projecting, called media folk, that are going to cover you, and nothing's going to happen. Let me also say this. I'll make this announcement too. Happy birthday, Dirty Q. Dirty Q, happy birthday. Didn't, wow. I didn't know. Wow, okay.
I just found
everybody. Dirty Q, you make 65 look good, I tell you. And Terry, if you want to call in and so me and Seth can sing to you, happy birthday, Mr. President, feel free to do so at your own risk, because we have Martha Quinn here.
I wonder how they sing happy birthday in Australia.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably with Michael Hutchins kind of swagger. What were we just talking about before that?
We were talking about Donna Brazil.
Yes, that water buffalo. Yes, Donna Brazil, the good old days. So that was 2016. And then fast forward to 2020, you had the puppet Biden with the Google Glass Eye protecting lens. It's not even the real Biden. And he's getting questions from his, who was it? Chris Wallace. And do you remember the art cover I made of them, like together as a couple that year? We did a 9-hour election coverage. I have it somewhere. We did a 9-hour election coverage. We did a ton of election coverage in the lead up to it. Anyways, so where I'm getting at is, as they go to commercial, thank God. We saw a different Trump, as Seth has been mentioning, myself, and this is a drastically different version of it as far as energy goes, but I think it is predestined, pre-planned, and premeditated of a strategy of looking like the defeated poker player.
Right.
Because it's too obvious. It's too obvious, and it's working, but it's too obvious to me. Go ahead. So get your point, Seth.
I was just thinking it'd be pretty interesting to see Ramaswamy debate with Trump. I think that would be a pretty good battle.
I agree. It would be no contest. I don't think he is. I think he's trying to vie for position as a VP, and smart, because none of the other guys are all neocons. I don't think are doing that. Maybe one or two, but Nikki Haley. I mean, these are the enemies.
Yeah. Right.
These are like hardcore criminals that are just using, the Republican Party today to get what they want. And here's another
Nikki
thing.
Haley from New Hampshire?
No, she's from South Carolina. No, South or one of the Carolinas. But here's another thing too, is I think they turned the mics up on the audience. Notice that too. I was the first one to tell people they did that to Trump in the Hillary debates. They turned his gain all the way up so you can hear everything like that to make him look.
Yeah, he kept sniffing.
Yeah, that's what they did. They mixed with the mic, and then Mark Dice ran with that too. Ramaswamy is 38 years old. 38 years old. Okay, that's not bad.
I had it right in the middle. I was like 35 to 40.
35 to 40. Yeah, he's a young guy. We haven't seen anything like that in a long time. Speak of the devil here. Look at this right here. Gold. And if you've been yeah, you might have noticed some things. I've been talking about
promo code Levin.
Yeah, use the promo code Levin and make sure you tell Mark sent you.
Get your gold.
This is so funny, and maybe not as funny, but I actually got an email, Seth. I actually got an email the night I was. When was it? When did I come back? Monday night. I got an email from a gold company. Believe it or not, I swear to God, that would like to partner with Real Deal Media and make the Dean coin.
Oh, that's actually like a cool thing.
Well, even if they don't, let me just say this. I don't know why we're watching commercials, but if it's kind of been tongue in cheek, I don't know if they're aware of this, but the opportunity for myself to have an opportunity to actually make my own gold commercial. Do you know how much fun this would be? I
think it'd be great. You were doing a skit before, and it was beautiful.
Well, yeah. So I would want to talk to people about gold, and then I would have Seth be one of the testimonials. I just retired.
I bought my gold coin from Dean, and I think it's great. You should get yours too.
Exactly. So he'd be one of the testimonials, and by the third commercial, Seth's story will be, "I invested in the Dean coin, and you know the story."
Yeah, you know the story.
So many ways I could go with it. So I wanted to share that with people. And
on that same subject, though, I'm not really into gold or nothing like that, but what they have is these square gold plates, and you can snap off 1 gram pieces.
Well, the thing is, I think I'm not going to talk about gold every 2 minutes, but it's good to have if people want to invest in that, and we have an affiliate. I think that'd be kind of fun. I've invested in silver before, and why not? It's not going to hurt. I'm certainly not one of these guys that pushes all these things all the time because I'm.
Yeah, everybody's selling gold right now.
Yeah, even they do on this broadcast here, the top right.
I remember when gold was $660 an ounce.
Oh, he just said fentanyl. Let me do a shot real quick. I just heard fentanyl.
Of course he did.
Yeah, let me do a shot real quick and then choke myself out a little bit.
Oh, the drinking game. Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing shots and choking. We're choking ourselves every time we hear fentanyl. As the Fonz over here is telling us, Henry Winkler, I think he's wearing shorts. That's what you don't know or see.
He's got great eyebrows.
Award-winning eyebrows, Seth. Award-winning. Like, you know,
I
very
would comb the hell out of those.
comb, blow dry, everything. Very award winning. Very kind of like, you know, George Harrison-esque.
He looks like the bird on the Muppets. You know, the big eagle on the Muppets?
He kind of does, actually. Kind of does. Who does this guy look like, if you could pinpoint?
He looks a little like Johnny Carson to me, a little bit.
You know what? I was going to say the leader of
Conway?
No, the A-Team. Remember?
The A-Team? Not Hannibal.
Okay, never mind. Angie says, "Don't insult George." Okay, see, I'm getting S'd on. Thank you, Susan Bryant. The Fonz. That's right.
He's a big Fonzo.
He's Alfonso.
The real Fonzie was actually a small guy.
He was. Cindy Lou says, "Nikki is South Carolina." That's right. I knew it was the home of Hootie and the Blowfish. That's what I was thinking. We have Dirty Q, the birthday boy, saying Trump's about to drop a sledgehammer in Georgia. Dirty Q, you mean this one right here? Oh, damn it. And that's why he's acting weak and defeated. Dirty Q, I just said that. Seth, you were a witness to that.
Yeah.
Don't you hate when Dirty Q tries to just steal my points and then put his name on it? God. He's been doing it for
He tried to steal your idea like it was his idea.
And my identity, too. God. He goes around telling people he's...
When are you going to have those pink hammers in the RDM store?
They're being manufactured right now in Ukraine, so it's going to take a while.
Batteries not included, of course.
Oh, God. I actually got a story about Dirty Q. I cannot tell you on air. I have to tell you afterwards. It happened last night, and we both like almost jumped to our death. Okay. Anyways, who's this one here? Dirty Q says, "I was out of my truck, Dean." Okay, all right, fine, all right.
Oh, so he didn't hear it.
I did it in a deep blue state, being outspent 3-1.
Okay, here we go.
Beating a Democratic incumbent is not easy. The last Democratic incumbent president who was defeated was Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, but he's a Democrat, so it is easy.
Governor from a blue state who knew how to get results, who stood for the truth, who cared about accountability, and stood strong and hard against waste. Those are the very things that I did.
What a shitty tie he has. I cannot emphasize it enough. And you know, let me add, like, Chris Christie could be such a lovable guy if he wasn't such an asshole. You know what I mean? Like, if he was just trying to be the head.
He's already jolly.
You know what I mean? Like, I want to love Chris Christie. There's a lot to love.
He could be like a John Candy. He could be like that, like an Uncle Buck.
Yeah, he has the voice, the tone. See, that's a tone guy. And he makes it hard for us to love him. He doesn't want our love. That's what I'm getting at.
To go to a country they'd never been.
This woman here, or this pheasant,
willing to protect us from there.
She's always pointing.
Willing to fight for America.
Yeah.
And look how angry she is too.
He knows that. I will strengthen our economy and we'll bring this inflation down.
No, she won't strengthen anything except for her teeth.
She can't do anything.
You know what? I hate this woman. I really do. I've hated her for a long time. Now that I think about it.
Yeah.
I hate her. I absolutely hate her.
I lived in South Carolina for 2 years.
Oh God! How did they get elected there? You know, and the weird thing is they were all on Trump's cabinet. You know why?
Yeah.
Which is why I hope Roger's back in the equation here, and we'll get Roger back on.
Trump hired so many bad people when he was president. It was like he was surrounded by backstabbers.
Oh my God!
Incredible.
It's like he was running Real Deal Media at a point.
Oh, that's a good one.
I mean, I see him. I see myself. It's weird. Everything he's been through, I've been through.
You took a playbook from Trump. You're like, let me try that.
Literally, try to kill me. I'm not even like. I should go on Tucker Carlson next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure you're hunched over and like talk really low and depressed and.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I got to squint my eyes like I'm watching scrambled porn, just like Mike Pence does. You know.
Oh yeah.
grew up into a generation where
this guy's born in 1985.
Celebrate our diversity and our differences so much that we forgot all of the ways we are really just the same as Americans, bound by a common set of ideas.
Diversity is a trigger word.
Nation into motion in 1776.
Yeah, let me
and
take a
this
shot.
is our moment to revive those common ideas. God is real. There are two genders. Fossil fuels are a requirement for human prosperity. Reverse racism is racism.
God.
An open border is not a border.
What?
Reverse
racism isn't racism?
Children. The nuclear family is the greatest form of governance known to man. Capitalism lifts us up from poverty.
Wow, he's saying all the right things.
Not for. And the
It's too polished, I think.
Strongest guarantor of freedom in human history.
Well,
that
he's
is what won
auditioning.
us the American Revolution. That is what will win us the revolution of 2024.
Plucks his eyebrows. He does. Look how.
Yeah.
Look at Brett Baylor just asked himself.
Yeah, he's about to jump out of his seat.
He's like, I've got to take the sign out now.
He's like, I'm rushing the stage. Pull me back.
We will send Joe Biden back to his basement, and we will reverse the decline of this country. I'm a blue-collar kid. I work minimum wage jobs to be able to make ends meet. Okay. I understand the importance of
Ron, we want to send you back to Florida. You need a governor there.
Millions of Americans will restore it. I'm a veteran who served in Iraq.
Yeah.
I know what it means.
I'm a veteran.
Of self. I'm also a dad and a husband.
Something needs to pull him by his ears.
I understand
Bring it back to Tallahassee.
parents' rights.
I wonder what his job was in the military.
We showed it could be done. I made promises.
He probably worked in supply.
All of those promises.
Probably, yeah. Potatoes.
Maybe he was a cook.
No excuses. I will get the job done.
Remember on that movie Under Siege? We thought Steven Seagal was just a cook, but he wasn't. That's
What's that?
Thank you to all the candidates on the stage tonight, and thank you to Milwaukee.
Oh, thank you, Martha Quinn.
On the campaign trail, from debates to primaries to the general election and the convention before that. Thanks for joining us. Sean Hannity from the Spin Room starts right now.
Oh, I
hate Sean Hannity.
Can't wait from.
I'm so glad he's not there.
Oh, by the way, great job, Martha. And
great job, Martha. They're like, we're going to cut off production there. We don't want to see Sean Hannity either. Great job, Seth Black here. Thanks for coming on the Dean Hannity show here. Let's get into just what we saw there and how great is Israel and why should we protect them? Mark Levin.
Yeah. Get your gold.
I don't
know. I hate how they always have to bring up Israel all the time. It's like it's almost like they're our sister country. Like I could care less about Israel. It's like I don't want to go to war with Israel, and I don't want to have to do all their dirty work either. I don't want to have to because they're surrounded by like all these Arab countries that all hate them, and every time something goes on, it's like we have to rush to their aid every time. I don't understand that.
Oh, Israel, you dropped that. Let me get that for you. Oh, let me pick that up. You just make you a sandwich.
Yeah, it's like your little cute brother or sister that you always have to stick up for.
Yeah, like, okay, you think if that was the case, like, we'd be friends with Mexico or Canada. We'd be just, name dropping all the time. I mean, Republicans name drop Israel like, Kristen Megan name drops, her PPE degrees and stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's just
there's a lot of connotation behind saying Israel and supporting Israel.
And you know what? Why are they attacked the USS Liberty in 1967, but all these supporters never bring that up.
Right. Yep.
It's always about, no, I'm better friends with them. No, I'm friends. You're not good friends with them. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Kind of a round robin in closing here, as our broadcast is coming to a conclusion. Unlike the debates there, Israel provokes the Arab countries. Susan Bryant, you're not. You must be. You don't sound like a friend of Israel, Susan Bryant, and unlike myself and Seth.
You're an anti-Semite.
You believe she even typed that and I read it accidentally? Jeez, Susan. Might as well call her.
This is going on your permanent record.
Swear. That's the last time I finished that maneuver. Well, let's go to the next one here. Let's see what Cindy Lou says, who's, I know, a good friend of Israel. Well, Cindy says he was an advisor to Seal. That's right. Seal, the incredible singer Seal. I was his advisor once. Seal team, excuse me. What Seal team? Who was an advisor?
That was DeSantis' job?
He was an advisor? What does that mean? What, he did their taxes? We need it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you, Cindy, though. But we can count on Cindy. She's a friend of Israel, like me and Seth.
I'm gonna have to look into that about DeSantis. I gotta know what his job was.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look into that. Real quick out there, I want to throw this out there before we kind of conclude the broadcast here. The interview with Trump, was it a success? Was it a draw, or was it unsuccessful? That's the first one. And the debates that we saw, if that's what that was it a success? Like there's going to be a real candidate from that? Or was this an audition? Or was it a bashing Trump opportunity? What do people think out there? And I'll take my answers offline, email, and or
was it a total waste of time?
Yeah, I mean, was it greater than, equal to, or less than the King's coronation that I covered a few months ago? We have Nigel Dyer, who says, "Good night, Dean. Seth, have a nice sleep with good dreams, not nightmares after watching those debates." Yeah.
Thank you.
Seth, yeah. Well, if he would just stop eating before bed, he wouldn't have these nightmares about Chris Christie. Okay, here's Beverly, who has an opinion. Thank you, Beverly, who says, "I think the interview was good, a success." Okay. Here we have Susan Bryant, who's no friend of Israel like me and Seth. She said, "Successful." And she said it like that. She goes, "Success. Hot.
Successful.
Oh, very successful, Mr. Bryant. Mr. Bryant." Here we have, a friend of Japan, but not Israel. See how it works. Or Mary Gangloff says, "It was Mr. T being calm before the storm." That's what I say about Seth all the time, because usually he's hitting people with tilapia fish everywhere. I've seen it. Wait, never mind. That's Cagney. We have Nigel. Okay. So, and Beverly says, the debate question, a few noticeables. Beverly, I'm dying on the edge of my seat. Please tell me. Cindy Lou says, "I think Trump did good," or as they say in Spanish, bueno, because we have a big Spanish audience. Okay.
Bueno.
Muy bueno, papi. That's usually what I get. Then I like Vivek too. Vivek is Vivek, yeah. He you know what? Vivek Swami. And let me tell you another thing he's vying for. If he's not vying for VP, which I think he would, or cabinet, he's vying for a book deal. He's vying for a Fox News position on television, anything. This is what these guys do. This is what they all do, the book deal, Dancing with the Stars, opportunity.
I wouldn't mind seeing him get a position on Tucker's thing. Like as another anchor.
I think you're going to say, I wouldn't mind seeing him on Dancing with the Stars. I was like, yeah, me neither. I think it'd be pretty good. Okay, so that's the question, too. So I think that the Trump interview, success, but to standards of me and Seth, probably not, which is probably a good thing because, we're like pretty gung-ho.
I'm glad we watched. I think overall it was good. I'm glad we watched. Good. I'm glad we supported, watching Tucker and Trump rather than watching the Fox thing. We watched the Fox thing as the entertainment part, but it wasn't even that funny, But the Ramaswamy guy, he's pretty good.
He's a standout. But, here's another thing, too. Us watching and dedicating a night to the Tucker Carlson interview with Trump is a big middle finger to corporate media, Fox News, for what they did to Tucker Carlson, what they have done to Donald Trump, and what they've done to people who supported or think certain ways that Tucker or Donald Trump does. So it was a big rebuttal of forget you to them. That's how I saw it as well.
Plus, it's for the people that voted for Trump and their vote never counted.
Exactly. Or we can't even address or even acknowledge that the election was, something that rhymes with Bolin. Yeah. So a big screw you to them. So I'm happy we did it as well. Plus, we love these type of specials. So I thought that was a success. The debates, pathetic.
All should be interesting.
Yeah, pathetic, just horrible. It was actually cringe, and you could see it on Brett Baer's face how cringe it was. Chris Christie. I mean, Mike Pence alone, horrible. There's no satisfaction, and it just makes you reminds you of the people you hated from years ago. Oh, they're still alive. You hate them now. So there's that.
I actually met a guy. And I was talking politics to him, and I said to him, if you could choose a person to be president, who would you want? And he told me Mitt Romney. And I was floored. I thought I would never meet anybody that would ever choose Mitt Romney for their first choice.
So let me get this straight. Correct it for you. You had a friend who told you.
No, Romney. He wasn't even a friend. He was just a guy I was working with. You know, politics came up.
See,
we were talking about Trump and Biden and this and that. And
Seth
he was
is
like,
very slick, Seth. Because if I was Seth, I would say, yeah, he's not a friend of mine. I would do the same thing. But no, I think what he means, because a lot of people don't follow Mitt Romney's career after his last presidential bid of 2012. He's probably thinking of that Mitt Romney, not what we now know about him. So,
well, Mitt Romney was in Massachusetts as a governor for a while.
That's
like why he's so prevalent. But now he's out in Utah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's at some old male brothel in Utah, allegedly, supposedly. So
he's doing a lot of dealings in Ukraine too. He's over there taking a lot of money, but he's staying below the radar so much. His name is never brought up. That might be the guy that busts the whole thing wide open. If you can get him involved, then people are going to start singing.
Seth, you just gave me a great idea, and I want to do this. I want to execute this. I want to dedicate an entire episode of The Lounge, which I'll invite you as well, on Mitt Romney in the Mormon Tabernacle Church and the trafficking that they're involved with. I want to do this. Okay, so just mental note.
Yeah.
Real quick, Dirty Q, who is the birthday boy tonight, and we want to talk to you after, please. Most people would be switching over to the debates following Trump's interview. They will count those as views for Fox. Dirty Q always the voice of reason. He's trying to be Swamsy here, trying to audition. Come on, Dirty Q. I know it's your birthday, but don't ruin mine, which is in a few months. I think
Debbie Downer from SNL.
Dean, that woman you had the debate with at the airport has got more chance of becoming president. Thank you very much. And it wasn't a debate. I mean, she flipped me off in the plane and told me what I could do with myself, and apparently I'm into that, I guess, at the time. So another story. Okay, so the debates, auditions, and everyone wants to become the establishment choice there. The never Trumper and
there's no winners there.
No winners.
There's no winners on that stage. No way.
No winners. They all look crappy too. And I look crappy. I feel crappy, and I think I look better than Chris.
Yeah, you got a better chance than they do.
I do. Yeah, I'm going to declare that now. So that's my take on it. All right, tomorrow night, everybody, I will be back and try to cover this to its natural outcome of whatever happens here tomorrow night. And I'm sure Seth will be there and others, Jim Fetzer and myself. For the members, a big moment in time in modern day history. So thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. And the members, you are the visionaries debonair, and make it all possible, really, truly, honestly. So for us, Seth Black, Jim Fetzer, and myself here, Dean Ryan, saying thank you. Remember, stay tuned and stay awake. See you guys tomorrow night.
Another